Welcome to Wilmot Wild Lacrosse on Rogers TV. The 4-3 Fergus Thistles come into town to take on the 6-1 Wilmot Wild and trying to inch closer in the Junior C standings in the West Division that are led by Brantford. And that is because Wilmot lost to Brantford earlier on this season, and both teams sit at 6-1. Fergus comes in at 4-3. They've had a battle. They're 1-2 in their last 3 games. They lost their first game of the season in overtime to Brantford, and then after that, they went on a 3-game win streak and then have gone 1-2 since. One of those losses, a 10-7 overtime loss to the Wilmot Wild. Now, special teams is going to play a big factor in this contest because both teams struggle a little bit on one end and are very good on the other. For the Wilmot Wild, their power play is not the best, but it gets the job done when it has to. They were 3 of 11 in that overtime win over Fergus just 2 weeks ago. As for Fergus, their penalty kill is their downfall, just operating at only 66%, but they have the second best power play in the league, and again, trying to inch closer to Brantford, it's going to be a tough task for the Fergus Thistles. We have a pregame ceremony out on the floor, so we'll send it to public address announcer Sean Norris.
All right, guys, I'm going to ask our chair, Matt, if you want to say a couple words about the ride and get going next Saturday. If you're a rider or know someone in your family is a rider, they would love to hear from you. You can raise your hand, the microphone.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dave Mathis. I'm Brian Matt. Let's give it up to the Wilmot Wild. Just want to thank Shelly and Wayne for inviting us out today to be part of this incredible event. We'd like to thank you for partnering with us and being part of the Grand Motorcycle Ride for Dad as a corporate sponsor. We're also going to be a stop here next week, so if you're out and about and you want to see some 700 or 800 motorcycles, stop in here at the Wilmot Rec Center on June 1st. We'll be here around the noon hour time. I'd also like to thank the Waterloo Regional Police Service for being on here today. They're great community partners for us. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. So, the event is prostate cancer. Prostate cancer research and education. The money that we raise here in our community comes back to this community to improve men's health. I can tell you that we've been doing this event since 2004. Today we've raised $2 million for the community. But we can only do that with the help of folks like yourselves and the folks like Wayne and Shelly and the team here. The community has to come together and we have to fight this thing. So if you've got a motorcycle and you want to come over riding, if you don't, you can sign up online and you can pledge some money and support the cause. I can tell you that we have a great prize this year. Blackberry
At this time, please rise and take your hats and join us for the playing of our national anthem.
Facing off in Ontario Junior C West Division action on a Sunday afternoon from the Wilmot Recreation Complex. Jack Moore along with you as the Wilmot Wild set to take on the Fergus Thistles. Starting goaltenders for today's game, Reed Fitton for the Wilmot Wild. He has a 4-0 record, a .625 goals against average, and a .713 save percentage. He'll be countered by Xavier DeMichel, who is 1-1 on the season, appeared in 3 games so far, as a .642 goals against average and a .729 save percentage so far on the year. As our pregame ceremony is the motorcycles just about to get off the floor, as we'll be underway shortly here. And for Wilmot, they have not lost a home game all year, 3-0 at home this season, making the Wilmot Recreation Complex a very tough place to play this year. And you look at their home games, a 7-6 win over Caledon, an 8-4 win over Halton Hills, and then an 11-10 win over Barrie. That was just back on May 12th. That was the Mother's Day game. And Wilmot looking to remain undefeated at home. Fergus looking to inch closer and climb themselves back into contention for a West Division title this season. As the door on the floor is about to close and we're set for face-off between the Wilmot Wild and Fergus Thistles, live on Rogers TV. Out to start the game is Hunter Schmidt. He'll be the center for the Wilmot Wild, and countered by Jacob Payne. As we are underway, and Fergus picks up the ball first back in their own zone. Going back to get it was Jake Bauman. Bauman loses possession of that, and Wilmot controls Hayden Berger, the team's leading scorer for the Wilmot Wild. And now picked up again by the Wild as it comes loose. Matt Wyman works it back, and Bessie will swing things around. Worked far side, Blake Weidman. Back to the near side, off the boards, taken away by the Thistles, and Jake Bauman will bring it up the floor. Fergus controls. Nick Atchinson loses possession of the ball, and then getting knocked down to the floor was Dylan Kuntz. Wilmot will regroup and control there as Matt Wyman brings it back for the Wilmot Wild as they'll set up offensively. Ethan Warden stepping into the middle. Pass off intended for his teammate Tyler Nagy, unable to find him, so it'll be corralled by DeMichel in the net. And the Thistles will work back the other way. Alex Bockley, he goes off for a change and gives off to Adam Lance, the team's captain. Controlled by the Thistles. And there's going to be a foul against Fergus, so it'll be Wilmot ball. We're just over a minute 25 seconds into this contest. Neither team registered a shot so far as Jensen controls for the Wild. Has that taken away. There's a shot fired. Stovall couldn't beat Reed Fitton. And it's worked back the other way. Controlled by the Wild. Blake Weidman driving to the net. Weidman in, shoots, and that's a save by Xavier DiMichele. Didn't know where it was. Falls out of his equipment, and Fergus will bring it back down the floor. First good chance for Wilmot in this contest. Brought back the other way, Fergus controls. Dixon stepping into the middle, pass down low, there's a shot, there's a save by Fitton, a rebound, foot in the crease, it's going to be Wilmot ball. Both goalies getting tested now as back-to-back opportunities for both these teams. Working themselves down the floor, trying to get their feet wet. Last time they played, it was a 10-7 Wilmot overtime win as Bessie shoots, and that's stopped by DiMichele. Fergus brings it back down the floor. Angst. Pass for Bockley is errant and goes down all the way into the Wilmot zone where the Wild will pick up. Dylan Kuntz works it back up the floor, controlled by Derek Jensen, and he'll slow things down. Now, here's an opportunity. Aslan fires a shot, that goes wide, and rebound picked up by Tyler Townsend. Pass into the middle, there's another shot, and that goes wide. Rebound once again picked up by Wilmot late in the shot clock, so they'll just fire it in behind the Fergus net, and the Thistles will have to regroup and bring it back up the floor. Jeremy Goodwin passed it off as he heads off the floor. Fergus will control. Held there, Stovall. Passed off for Lance. Stovall gets it back. Now here's a chance as there was a shot on goal, but Reed Fitton makes the save, and Wilmot will start back the other way. Matt Wyman brings it up the floor, settles things down. Off for Hayden Berger. Berger spins off a defender. Now passes off for Wyman, but that pass unable to find his teammate, so Wyman will have to recontrol as there's a pass cross floor, and Wilmot will set up in the offensive zone. Blake Weidman trying to create, but Wilmot with the ball. Berger shoots, that stopped. Ball rolling in the crease. Berger's foot was there, so it'll be Fergus ball. Xavier DiMichele not seeing the ball as well as he wants to in the first few minutes of this contest, but making some saves on good Wilmot chances as that pass is errant, picked off by Reed Fitton. And Wilmot will control and go on offense. Ball goes into the Fergus crease where DiMichele will control and bring it back up the floor. And Fergus is trying to create some offense here, and Bauman goes off for a change. He works it off for Hindman. Hindman, Lance up top. Far side. Dixon, back to Lance. Lance fires a shot. That's a long shot that was stopped by Reed Fitton. Saw that the entire way, able to get his whole body in front of him. Now brought up the floor. Here's a chance for Braden Hahn, but he's going to slow things down and work that ball off for Kent Radbourne. Worked up the floor, now driving to the front of the net. There's a backhand shot, but there was a foot in the crease, so it doesn't count. Tyler Nagy with a prime opportunity there, but not able to get anything done. Now driving to the net. Swanston shoots. Foot was in the crease, so it's going to be Wilmot ball. Fitton made the save anyhow. Both goalies standing tall in the first 5 minutes, 40 seconds of this contest. Kuntz brings it up the floor, battling against the defender, gets a screen from his teammate. Kuntz waits, pass far side. There's a shot, and that just got a piece of DiMichele's shoulder. Kuntz has to go all the way back to his own end to pick it up. Kuntz controls. Checked there by Cameron Angst. Kuntz brings it up the floor. Passed off for Blake Weidman. Weidman on the side. Trying to spin away from a check. Passes off to Jensen. Jensen steps into the middle. Down low. Unable to find Weidman. And Fergus picks off that ball, and they'll bring it back up the floor. Now battle for it on the sideboards is Eli McLeod, getting fought by 4 Wilmot Wild players. Ball springs loose, but it's going to be Fergus ball. Lance brings it up the floor. Fergus tries to create some offense. Holding as there's a pass up top. Now an opportunity for the Thistles in on goal, and that shot stopped by Fitton. And Wilmot goes back the other way. Wilmot controls as Bessie goes off for a change, and he gives off to Hayden Berger. Berger holding, has 9 goals, 16 assists on the season so far for Wilmot, but foot in the crease, so Fergus will get the ball and go back the other way. Starting up from his own end is Jacob Hine. He has that taken off his stick, and now going to the net, Tyler Townsend in, scores! Second goal of the season for Tyler Townsend. And he gets Wilmot on the board first. It's 1-0 Wild. Tyler Townsend creates a turnover and does it all himself. 7 minutes, 33 seconds in. Gives Wilmot a 1-0 lead. See it again here as he just drives in on net and puts it right past the shoulder of Xavier DiMichele. Fergus looking for a response as they head on offense. Controlled by McCaden Dixon. Now worked up top as there's a shot. That's stopped by Fitton. Traps it in the crease and then brought back the other way. Wilmot now looking to extend that lead after that Tyler Townsend goal, his second of the season. It's controlled by Kent Radbourne. Pass down low for Jackson Martin. Martin tries to feed it cross floor for Derek Jensen. That ball springs loose, and Fergus works back the other way with it. Jeremy Goodwin brings it up the floor with some speed as he slows down and waits for his teammates to come out as he gives it off to Adam Lance. Lance holds and controls for the Fergus Thistles. Lance shovels it off. Here's a shot from Fergus. Fitton stands tall in net. Scott Stovall with the opportunity for the Thistles. Reed Fitton continues to stand tall in the Wilmot net. Bessie works it off Berger. Berger spinning away from a defender, trying to drive to the net, gets double teamed and checked into the corner. Berger controls, works it far side. That's controlled. There's a shot on goal by Blake Weidman, but it's stopped by Xavier DiMichele. And Fergus will work it back the other way. Jacob Ristov has possession as he gets checked by Berger and Weidman as they both go off for a change. It's controlled again by the Thistles. Now worked around Atchison. Atchison shoots, scores! Nick Atchison, his 10th goal of the year, ties this game at 1. 2 minutes, 2 seconds after the Tyler Townsend goal, Fergus ties the game at 1 off the stick of Nick Atchison. Atchison came into this game 9 goals, 6 assists for 15 points. Adds to that total there as he gets this game tied at 1. First time Fergus has beaten Reed Fitton in this contest, and it ties this game up. As you saw that replay there on the Atchison goal, just beats Fitton clean. And Wilmot will take the next face-off and bring it back down the floor. Controlled by the Wild. They're looking to respond. Only game against Fergus so far. They won 10-7 in overtime. Tyler Nagy had 2 overtime goals. One was on an empty net. It was Matt Wyman who scored the game winner for the Wilmot Wild, that first goal of the overtime period for Wilmot. As Fergus controls and brought up the floor. Pass far side, that just goes off a Thistle stick, and now Wilmot will recontrol as that's taken away there by Beauregard. Alec Beauregard then loses that ball, is down on the floor as TJ Aslan. Wilmot controls and Aslan's still down in quite some pain. So the referees will pause the play and the gloves come off of Aslan as he seems to be in a lot of pain. Trainer's gonna come out to take a look at him. Still laying on his back, and can't quite tell where the injury happened. TJ Aslan, a strong defender for the Wilmot Wild. Be a tough loss if he's forced to come out of the game and can't return. Still getting attended to by the trainers as he continues to lay down on the floor. And looks like he might have been rubbing that left quad, so you gotta wonder if it's a leg injury. As he pops his helmet off now, continuing to talk to the trainer. Team's head trainer Dan Liebold, who is also the head trainer of the Kitchener Rangers of the Ontario Hockey League, isn't here today. Aslan slow to get up and limping off, so it definitely looks like a lower body injury, but he'll make his way back to the bench. And he'll be further assessed there, and this game will get back underway as we'll have a face-off at center floor. 9:22 left to go in this first period. 1-1 between Wilmot and Fergus. Here's a break, in on goal, shoots, scores! Fergus takes their first lead of the game just 1 minute 10 seconds after tying it up. And the Thistles grab their first lead of the game. Right off that faceoff, picked up in on goal and fired right over the shoulder of Reed Fitton. 2-1 Fergus lead. As we'll take a look at it here. You can just see right off that face-off, going for the ball was Cole Elford of the Wilmot Wild, and then it was fired over the shoulder of Fitton. Quick transition goal off the draw for the Fergus Thistles, and like I mentioned before, they take their first lead of the game. Jackson Martin controls for Wilmot now as he works it up top. Ethan Warden fires a shot, that's stopped by DiMichele. He scoops and passes that ball off, but that's Warden with a hard check down to the floor as Ristov couldn't keep his footing, but Fergus maintains possession and brings it up the floor. Jake Bauman controls. Held, fired, and that's stopped by Fitton. And so Jensen will pick up the rebound, and Wilmot will bring it back down the other way. Controlled by Derek Jensen. Off for Hayden Berger. Berger driving to the net. Berger shoots. That's stopped by DiMichele. Rebound. Kent Radbourne battling for it as it continues to roll on the floor in that far side corner. Radbourne picks it up. He steps around, shoots. That goes wide. Berger has to retreat back to his own end, but it's picked up by Tyler Townsend. Wilmot will regroup. 20 seconds left on that shot clock. Berger holds. Pass, a shot, that goes high, bounces off the back of the net, and then goes back in behind Xavier DiMichele. As there's a long stretch pass the other way, Fergus shoots, and that's stopped by Fitton. Alec Beauregard with a strong opportunity there. There was a long stretch pass and a bad change from the Wild. Great awareness by Fergus, but couldn't extend that lead to 2 on that possession. Jackson Martin controls as he passes off for Ethan Warden. Martin gets it back. Martin at the side of the net, pass cross crease, and there's a shot. That's stopped by DiMichele, finds it in his legs and covers it up. Evan Girdler couldn't get it past Xavier DiMichele, but another great opportunity for the Wild. Brought up the floor, Swanston passes down low, and unable to control that pass was Scott Stovall. So Fitton picks it up and works it back down for Colton Bessie. Now here's a chance. Berger in on goal. He's stopped by DiMichele. Xavier DiMichele. Berger again. He's got stopped again by Xavier DiMichele. Continuing to play strong in net for the Thistles. And now back the other way. Bauman in on goal. Bauman shoots that. Stopped by Fitton. Rebound picked up by the Wild. Foot in the crease by Fergus, so it's going to be Wilmot ball. It's actually going to be Fergus ball. And the Thistles will restart in the Wilmot zone. Passed up top, Atchison. Works it around the near side for Lance. Lance looking for a shooting lane, fires one high and wide as that ball rolls all the way back into the Fergus zone. Long stretch pass down floor by DiMichele as battling there was Hindman. Wilmot picks up the ball and then brings it back down the floor the other way. Jensen, a nice pass, but Tyler Nagy just couldn't scoop it. There was a Fergus stick in the lane, and now quickly back the other way is Jeremy Goodwin. A 2-on-1 for Fergus. Goodwin passes off, shot, scores! Sam McDonald. Our foot in the crease. So McDonald, who was in alone on that 2-on-1 with Jeremy Goodwin, scored and beat Reed Fitton, but it doesn't count as he had a foot in the crease, so that opportunity negated. That would have given Fergus a 2-goal lead. Pass down low as that's knocked out of the stick of Blake Weidman. And now we have some pushing and shoving there as Ethan Warden and Jeremy Goodwin going back and forth at each other. Warden and Goodwin will head off to the penalty box. So we'll see what the calls are there, but both players heading off to the box. It's going to be Fergus ball as 2 minutes go up for Warden and 2 minutes go up for Goodwin. And Fergus will start the other way as we've got 4-on-4 action. Pass cross floor. There's a shot on goal, but that goes wide. Hindman couldn't find the net. Fitton was screened out in front, but Wilmot will control and bring the ball back up the other way. Jackson Martin controls for the Wild. Wiedenberger out there as well for Wilmot. Martin passes far side. Girdler back near side for Berger. That goes off the boards and Berger couldn't control it, so Fergus will bring it back the other way. Jacob Hine quickly away from the benches, allowing for both teams to change. Fergus only has 3 players out on the floor. They finally get their 4th, Lance. Adam Lance working with Swanston, looking for a shooting lane, shoots, Fitton makes the stop, finds the rebound in his crease. We're a minute through this 4-on-4. Wilmot will have possession again. Derek Jensen works it near side, Townsend. Townsend driving to the net. Townsend shoots that stop by DiMichele. There's a backhand shot there from Blake Weidman, unable to beat DiMichele. And that rebound goes all the way back into the Wilmot zone. Hayden Brassard battling hard for it. That ball brought up by Wilmot, controlled by Blake Weidman. Weidman off to Hayden Berger. Berger fires a shot, scores! A long seeing eye shot from Hayden Berger ties the game at 2 on his 10th goal of the season. Hayden Berger, and DeMichelle didn't see any of it. As we take a look at our replay brought to you by Wild Wing, see Berger just a long shot. DeMichelle had no idea where it was. Wilmot ties this game up at 2 with a little over 3 minutes left. Driving to the net, a shot on goal, foot in the crease. Reed Fitton made the save anyway, so it'll be Wilmot ball. Brought up the floor, Matt Wyman. Controlling, passing down low, Warden. Let's work back up top for Berger. Out of his reach as we're back to 5-on-5. Fitton controls. He'll work it up the floor for Ethan Warden. Warden, pass out in front. There's a shot by Wyman. That's stopped by DeMichelle. Picked up by Girdler. Over to Warden. Wyman shoots. That's kicked away by DeMichelle. Controlled again by Wilmot in the offensive zone. Girdler fires. Stopped by DeMichelle. Rebound picked up by the Fergus Thistles. That's Cameron Angst. He controls still for Fergus. As 2 forecheckers for the Wild trying to knock that ball loose, and they do. Girdler going to the net. Berger out in front. Shoots. That's stopped by Xavier DeMichelle once again. Young man standing on his head in this first period. Wilmot with opportunity after opportunity. But it's just a 2-2 game. It could easily be 4 or 5-2 for Wilmot, if not for Xavier DeMichelle. Lance loses that one as it gets passed off the boards. Picked up there by Colton Bessie as he brings it down the floor. He'll pass off for Kuntz. Kuntz down low for Bessie as that's scooped up by DeMichelle. And Fergus will start back the other way. 1:45 left to go in this first period. Backhand pass up the floor for Jake Bauman. Now driving to the net, pass cross crease. But Heineman couldn't get a shot on goal, couldn't get a clean stick on it. 90 seconds left in the first period. Hahn brings it up the floor for Wilmot. Wild trying to take back that 1-goal lead. They scored the opening goal of the game by Tyler Townsend. Fergus replied with 2 of their own before Wilmot tied it at 2. A pass up top. Townsend fires a shot. That's stopped by DeMichelle. Rebound out in front. Jackson Martin couldn't scoop it. Now he does. Backhanded shot goes wide. Picked up by Fergus. And Jake Bauman will control as there's a little bit of a scuffle out in front. Jacob Hain dumps Jackson Martin down to the floor. So with 56.3 seconds left in the first period, a high sticking call against Hain, and Wilmot will head to the power play. So the Wild, we mentioned off the top, their power play not the best, just 4 of 53, which is 14th in the league so far this season. 3 of those 4 power play markers came in that 10-7 overtime win over Fergus. There's a pass. There's a shot there from Radbourne, but that gets turned away. Nagy for Berger. Near side. Berger gets it back up top. Warden controls. Down low. There's a shot by Jackson Martin. Rebound bounces up in the crease. So DeMichelle able to corral it. Give it off to Jacob Ristoff, who brings it up the floor. He loses possession of that as Nagy was checking him. Able to recontrol. It's going to be Wilmot ball starting from their own end with just 18 seconds left. Warden works it off far side for Jackson Martin. Warden gets it back. Now Radbourne down low for Nagy. Cross for Bessie. DeMichelle comes across, makes a save. And that will end the first period. Tied at 2 between the Fergus Thistles and the Wilmot Wild. Wilmot will head into the second period with 1:04 of power play time. But after 20 minutes of play, they are tied at 2 against the Fergus Thistles. We'll have the first intermission coming up for you on Wilmot Wild Lacrosse on Rogers TV. Welcome back to Wilmot Wild Lacrosse on Rogers TV. 2-2 between the Wilmot Wild and Fergus Thistles after 20 minutes of play. Wilmot opened the scoring on a 1-0 goal, but it was Fergus answering right back very quickly to tie the game at 1. They then took a 2-1 lead before the Wilmot Wild were able to tie the game at 2 on a Hayden Berger goal as we take a look here. And there's Townsend stepping in on goal and scoring. That was the opening goal of the game, 7 minutes, 33 seconds in. And then Fergus able to tie the game at 1. Nick Atchison fires it over the shoulder of Reed Fitton. And then you see off the draw, it was a quick transition goal for Fergus. Ball gets flown into the Wilmot zone right off the draw and then in on goal, beating Fitton very quickly. So it was 2-1 Fergus at that point, and then it was Hayden Berger. That long seeing eye shot fired it over the shoulder of Xavier D. Michel that made it 2-2 after 20 minutes of play. Going into the second period, the Wilmot Wild have 1 minute and 4 seconds of power play time. Their power play not operating very well this season, but they did have 3 goals on the power play the last time they played the Fergus Thistles. So they are looking to take advantage of that, and we'll have an interview with a Wilmot Wild player coming up as we continue our first intermission here on Wilmot Wild Lacrosse on Rogers TV. Hunter, how's it going?
It's going. How about you?
Good. I'm just going to ask you a little bit about that first period, how you felt your team did, and then what you guys have to do in the next 40 minutes to come away with the win. You have a power play to start the second period, so I might say that, obviously your power play struggled a little bit this year, so what has to go right in the next minute, 4 seconds to retake that lead?
All right.
Cool. Welcome back to Wilmot Wild Lacrosse on Rogers TV. 2-2 between the Wilmot Wild and Fergus Thistles after 20 minutes of play. Now joined by Hunter Schmidt of the Wilmot Wild. And Hunter, your team tied at 2 after the first period, a Fergus team that's trying to catch you guys in the standings. How did you feel about your team's play in the opening 20 minutes?
We were moving the ball a lot on offense. The bounces weren't really going our way, but I think in this second period, we're going to turn it around, get refocused, and start putting the ball in the back of the net.
So obviously your power play struggled a little bit, just 4 of 53 on the season for 7% efficiency. You have a 1-4 power play to start the second period, and 3 of your 4 power play goals have come against Fergus this season. How important is it to establish the power play at the start of this second period for your team?
I think the boys on the power play, they just got to focus, like I said before, and really get going with those plays and understand that we need those goals now, and our power play has been struggling, and if we can get that going and just get that monkey off our back, I think it'll give the boys a lot more confidence going into this power play and the rest of the game.
Thank you for joining us, Hunter. That's Hunter Schmidt of the Wilmot Wild. It's 2-2 between Wilmot and Fergus after 20 minutes of play. We'll have the third period coming up for you next on Wilmot Wild Lacrosse on Rogers TV. Welcome back to Wilmot Wild Lacrosse on Rogers TV. 2-2 between Wilmot and Fergus as we are getting set to start the second period here from the Wilmot Recreation Complex in Baden, Ontario. Jack Moore along with you on Rogers TV. And it was a strong first period for Wilmot offensively, but they were only able to get 2 goals. Xavier DeMichel standing tall in the Fergus net to be able to hold his team in this one, and Wilmot will start this second period with 1:04 on the power play. Their power play operating at just 7% on this season. But the good news for Wilmot in that category is that Fergus's penalty kill struggles just as much as Wilmot's power play does. Fergus's penalty kill just 33 of 50 this year. That's 66%, and that's second last in Junior C lacrosse among the 16 teams that play against each other in Ontario. So Wilmot will set up as Nagy works it down low. It's brought back to him. Now down far side. Nagy out in front, scores! First power play and a goal for the Wilmot Wild. Tyler Nagy buries it home. It's 3-2 Wilmot, just 28 seconds into the second period. A great job there by Tyler Nagy to be able to pass that ball off and then get it back out in front as we take another look at it on our replay, brought to you by Wild Wing. As you see it here, Nagy picks it up and then passes to the far side, gets it back out in front, and then buries it over the shoulder of Xavier DeMichel. So it's 3-2 Wilmot as I bring in my broadcast partner, Andrew Coughlin. And Andrew, Wilmot trying to create more space between them and Fergus in this contest, now up 3-2. What do they need to continue to do to come away with a victory?
They got to keep shooting, that's for sure. They're going to solve the Fergus goalie here eventually. Keep the shots up, keep the tempo up, and really push the pace.
Carter Hindman works it off far side for Adam Lance. It's given off for Atchison. Atchison has that checked off his stick as it rolls into the corner. And there's a battle for it now as players from both teams going after it, but There was a shot from Atchison that goes high over the net late in the shot clock. Fergus still controls a long shot, never made it to the net, so Hayden Berger will pick it up for Wilmot, and the Wild will bring it back down the floor. Braden Hahn heads off for a change, and Girdler will control for the Wild. Passed off for Jackson Martin. Martin working around his defender. Steps into the middle. Martin driving to the net, and that goes off the shoulder of DiMichele and into the corner.
Jackson's been a great addition to the Wilmot Wild here, coming over from the Six Nations program.
Ristov driving to the net, can't get a shot away, tipped off his stick by Blake Weidman. Great defensive back check there from the Wild, but Ristov able to pick that ball up on that pass that wasn't controlled by Wilmot. And Fergus will regroup in the offensive zone as they go off for a change. McCaden Dixon controls past his far side. Now a pass down low. Brody Schaefer fires a shot. That goes high. Rebound corralled by Fergus. There's a one-time opportunity for Alec Beauregard. Couldn't fire it past Reed Fitton. Now Wilmot picks up the rebound and brings it back the other way. Girdler controls. Setting up offensively, getting a change off the bench. Pass down low. There's a shot that's stopped by DiMichele. Picked up Dylan Kuntz. Kuntz works it up top for Tyler Nagy. Nagy battling against Jake Bauman. Nagy gets a screen. Nagy steps in looking for a shooting lane. Pass shot, and that's stopped by DiMichele. Rebound almost on the doorstep for Kent Radbourne, but it was fired into the corner by a Fergus stick, and then the Thistles control, and they'll bring it back the other way. J.J. Swanston controls for Fergus. Passed off for Nick Atchison. Atchison near side for McDonald. Alec Beauregard steps, fires, and that's stopped by Reed Fitton, who
Great rebound control there by Reed.
Done a great job in this game being able to see the ball, trap it in his crease, and not create too many second chance opportunities for Wilmot as there's a shot. DiMichele makes the save. Rebound! That goes wide.
Jackson Martin, I believe, there were two great chances.
Jackson Martin's had a lot of opportunities at the offensive end of the floor today, just hasn't been able to convert as he gets it. Pass intended for him out in front, but wasn't able to control it. Getting checked hard by a defender, so Fergus will pick up that errant pass and work it back down the other way. Jake Bauman controlling. Pass far side for Lance, and that was taken away by Wilmot. Kuntz controls as he passes off for Weidman and heads off for a change.
Good transition play there by Dylan Kuntz as he worked the ball up the floor.
Controlled by the Wild. Pass out in front for Girdler, gets picked off. Oh, now
break
back
the other way.
Now back the other way is Fergus. It'll just be settled down and controlled. The Thistles will get a change. And with the long change in the second period, how does that really affect the way that these teams play compared to the first period?
Oh, that's huge. Your defense gets worn down, and it's definitely a big aspect in the game that teams try to work the long pass and the give and goes just like that. Keep the pace.
There's a shot, but a foot in the crease, so that won't count. Great opportunity for Hayden Berger to get his second of the game.
Just as we're talking about that, Wilmot demonstrates exactly what I was trying to say.
Brody Schaefer, team's leading scorer, already has a goal in this game, his 11th of the season.
Wilmot's going to look to lock him off.
There's a shot, they score! Nick Atchison, his second of the game, and again, he ties it, had that 1-1 tying goal, and now ties the game at 3.
Take a look back here at the Wild Wing replay. Ball comes across, goes down low. Nick Atchison just comes over the top with a big over-the-top overhand shot, and he beats Reed Fitton, I believe, over the shoulder as we get another look. Oh, just down by his leg on the left side. Great shot by Nick Atchison.
So Nick Atchison once again ties this game up. This time it's tied at 3s. As Wilmot will control in the offensive end and try and respond. Weidman with Nagy, passes off. Nagy has that one picked off, and Fergus will bring it back down the floor the other way. couple of Wilmot forechecks, and now there's going to be a penalty called. It looks like it's going to go against the Wild.
I think we're going to see an illegal cross-check here on Colton Bessie. You can't cross-check when the opposing player's on the ground, and they got a couple whacks in there, and then Colton gave him a little cross-check, and I think the ref called that.
Colton Bessie will head off for 2 minutes. And so Fergus will go to the power play. We talked about how Wilmot's power play has struggled so far this season. Fergus's power play, second in the league, operating at 29.2%.
Wow, that's just deadly. That's something Wilmot's going to look to shut down here today.
Wilmot, one of the better penalty kills in the league, sixth at 86.7%. Hahn tried to corral that pass but lost his stick, so Fergus will regroup and step back the other way. Picked up by Carter Hindman. He controls for Fergus. Looked off Schaefer. Atchison gives it off Stovall. Schaefer waits, fires, and that ball missed the net, so it'll bounce all the way back down into the Fergus zone, where Schaefer will have to regroup. Shot down the floor at the end of the shot clock, so Wilmot will regroup in their own end. Still a minute to go on this Fergus power play.
Matt Wyman breaks the ball out here. He takes the ball low.
Wyman controls for the Wild. Looking to kill off as much time in this penalty as possible. Still got 10 seconds on the shot clock as it's now controlled by Ethan Warden. Warden gave it off for Wyman. Wyman shoots, that shot goes wide. End of the shot clock, so Fergus will regroup. 34 seconds left on this power play.
Great shift by Captain Matt Wyman there on the man short.
Fergus brings it up the floor. Stovall out there. And pass up top, Lance. Passes down low, there's a shot, they score!
Just a squeaker there through Reed Fitton. I think it was just bouncing and it crossed its way over the line.
J.J. Swanston gives Fergus back the lead. It's 4-3 Thistles on Swanston's 8th goal of the season.
The Wild Wing replay here. See the ball getting worked around by Fergus up top. Sees him down low, just a quick stick, and it trickles through Reed Fitton's legs.
So Fergus retakes a lead. And Wilmot will play from behind once again in this contest. Tyler Nagy passes far side, cross crease save there by Xavier DiMichele, and now picked up and back the other way are the Thistles. Jacob Hine in on goal, shoots, that stopped by Reed Fitton.
Great save by Reed there.
Wilmot works the ball back up the floor as Kuntz controls.
Reed had a great game earlier in the week away on the road against Oakville. That was a little bit closer than the Wild wanted to see it, but they did come away with a 7-5 victory, I believe.
Radbourne controls for the Wild. Trying to drive to the net, takes a stick off the face mask as Radbourne fires a shot. That was stopped by DiMichele and squeaks into the corner where Wilmot recontrols. The Wild looking to tie this game back up at 4. There's a shot by Hayden Berger. That's stopped by Xavier DiMichele and traps it in the crease.
So many games in this Junior C League are just goaltending duels, and this proving to be no different. A lot of one-goal games so far this season, and the goalies are a big factor in that.
Xavier DiMichele playing very strong in that opening period. It definitely could have been more than a 2-2 tie in favor of the Wild, but definitely a reason why his team's playing so well today, as that shot was stopped by Reed Fitton. Rebound comes out. Shot clock stops. It's picked up by the Wild. Fergus coaches arguing that there was a shot on goal, so there should have been a shot clock reset. But the Wild will take advantage of the miss by the officials and set up offensively. There's a shot, and that's stopped by DiMichele. Can't find it. It squeaks out behind him, in behind the net. And now battling for it is Jeremy Goodwin. He comes away, and a long stretch pass for Atchison. In on Fitton, shot, that goes wide, but there's going to be a penalty shot here as Tyler Nagy back-checking hard, takes down
And an
Atchison.
unsportsmanlike penalty, I believe Tyler Nagy just picked up. So he's going to be sitting too, and we're going to have a rare penalty shot here this afternoon.
So Nick Atchison, who already has 2 goals in this contest, will look for the hat trick to extend that Fergus lead to 2. As our referees talk things over, Tyler Nagy heads off to the penalty box. And coming out off the bench is Matt Wyman, getting an explanation from the officials.
Much needed too. Coach Rick Wendell wasted no time sending him out there, and he wanted to see why that extra 2 minutes got picked up.
So Nick Atchison will take the penalty shot for the Fergus Thistles on Reed Fitton, the goaltender for the Wilmot Wild.
Reed's really becoming a veteran in this league here. He looks calm in the net, calm, cool, and collected. He doesn't look concerned. Fergus coach trying to do a little strategy, I think, how to beat Reed Fitton here before number 10 Nick Atchison takes the shot here.
Atchison, 11 goals on the season, 2 of them coming today. In on Reed Fitton, a penalty shot. Atchison hits the post. Opportunity missed for the Fergus Thistles. Atchison hits the post and can extend that lead. Not often you see a penalty shot in lacrosse, and if you don't convert on them, it can come back to bite you.
Absolutely, and like I just had mentioned, it's a goaltending duel, and Reed Fitton got the upper hand on that penalty shot, and that was a big break there. Nick Atchison looks a little disappointed with himself as he went off, but no, that was the difference between a 2-goal lead here late in the second period.
Goaltenders get a water break as Reed Fitton heads to the Wilmot bench and Xavier DeMichel to the Fergus bench, and it'll be a 4-minute penalty against Tyler Nagy. So
I'm wondering if there was a 4-minute hit from behind there, the penalty shot would have taken out 2 minutes. So you'd have 2 minutes left to serve, as well as an extra 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct, is what I think we're going to see here.
So maybe a face-off at center. A little bit of confusion and miscommunication between the benches and their players. Sam McDonald taking the draw for the Fergus Thistles. Hunter Schmidt, who we talked to in that first intermission. Looks like they're also calling a misconduct penalty against Nagy, so they need an extra player to head to the box to serve.
Which I'm not sure what's going on here, because they've now taken off 2 minutes, which would mean Nagy's perfectly acceptable to serve his penalty unless he got a 10-minute misconduct, which would mean they would need the extra player in there.
Rick Wendell getting the explanation from the officials, and now referee's also talking things over with the Fergus bench, so a little bit of a slowdown after that Nick Atchison penalty shot.
That's all right, though. That's what the Wilmot Wild kind of want here. They want the game to reset. They don't want Fergus to take any momentum off that little penalty shot run they got.
Cody Hudson heads over to the penalty box, so he'll serve the 2 minutes for Tyler Nagy. Still 4-3 Fergus with 10:25 left in this second period. Schmidt comes away with a face-off win, checked off his stick, but picked up by Wyman.
So those are the little things in the game that are going to get you ahead. Man-short face-off wins, long kills, just the things the Wilmot Wild got to start doing correct here to regain the lead.
Hayden Berger controls. Up top, Berger. Passing down low for Evan Girdler. And it's going to be Fergus ball.
Solid pick by Kent Radbourne there. Judgment call, I guess.
So Fergus sets up on the power play. Brody Schaefer quarterbacks this power play for the Fergus Thistles. He controls a pass, a shot, and that's stopped by Reed Fitton. Hindman with a good look up top, but couldn't beat Reed Fitton. Wilmot looking to kill off some time. Still 1 minute, 7 seconds left in that Tyler Nagy penalty.
Oh, that was a high pick there. Colton Bessie took one right in the head. No call on me.
Bessie controlling. Jackson Martin out there as well. A pass down low intended for Jensen. Couldn't find him. Continued to be controlled by the Wild as there's a shot on goal stopped by D. Michelle. Blake Weidman out in front. Couldn't beat the Fergus goaltender. Brody Schaefer controls for the Thistles as they set up on the power play. 30 seconds to go in the man advantage. Schaefer holding up top. Passes off for Heineman. Schaefer gets it right back, switches. Heineman, pass down low, and there's a shot by Swanston, but unable to get it towards the net. If there's a shot late in the shot clock, it goes wide, so it'll be Wilmot ball. And there's just 12 seconds left, so Wilmot plays this right. They'll still have possession when we go back to 5-on-5.
52, Cole Elford is progressing the ball. He loses it, though, and Fergus regains possession.
It's brought back down the floor by Jacob Hain. Now picked up by Fergus as they have a 2-on-1. McDonald for Hain out in front. Couldn't find him. Ball bounces around, and now it's picked up by Wilmot, but there's going to be a penalty call against the Wild. He's going hard into the boards with Scott Stouffville, and not happy with the call is Colton Bessie. So he'll head off. Still down now, slowly getting up and heading to the bench with Scott Stouffville. So Bessie heads off.
He strongly disagrees with that call. I actually think he might have taken an extra unsportsmanlike and may have kicked him out. He is very in big disagreement there with the referee's call.
It was actually Adam Lance who took the hit from Colton Bessie, and now we see Blake Weidman heading off to the box. He'll have to serve. It's going to be a 5-minute major against Colton Bessie. So Fergus will head to a 5-minute power play.
I haven't seen the replay yet, but I don't know if that looked like a 5-minute major to me. I think Colton Bessie was trying to sell that the Fergus player was embellishing a little bit, but definitely some contact made.
Still on the bench talking to the trainer is Adam Lance. Looks like he'll rejoin his teammates, but Colton Bessie, like you said, Andrew, not happy with that call. And then gets kicked out for it.
We're going to take another look here at the Wild Wing replay. Adam Lance is going to get the loose ball here in the corner, I believe, and Colton Bessie's, no, he was already on his way down. I'm going to have to agree with Colton Bessie on this one. Adam Lance's momentum was well on the way to the ground there before he made contact.
Fergus will set up on the 5-minute power play. Heineman works it down low for McDonald. Gets it back. Heineman up top. Schaefer. Pass far side. Stouffville. Heineman. Schaefer's shot. That's stopped by Reed Fitton. He controls the rebound.
5-minute power plays in lacrosse are kind of unique. So the team on the power play can score a maximum of 2 goals, but the Wilmot player will remain in the box in excess of 2 goals.
The full 5 minutes has to be served, but the man advantage only lasts if you score 2 goals. So after that second goal, it's back to 5-on-5. That would have been a benefit in hockey for the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round of the playoffs.
That would have been.
Schaefer controls for the Thistles. Heineman back to Schaefer. Fires a shot, that rings off the post. Out in front, Fitton makes the rebound save. In close, Nick Atchison couldn't bury it behind the Wilmot goaltender. And Wilmot will control and try and kill some more time off this penalty.
He's definitely going to be thanking his posts here going into the intermission. He's gotten some extra help
Jensen
here.
driving to the net. Continues to hold. Didn't get a clean lane to get a shot away. Radbourne fires that stop by D. Michelle. Rebound, Jensen steps out in front, spinning shot, that goes wide. Radbourne can't control the ball. It bounces out of play. It's going to be Fergus ball.
Kent's calling for a tip there, but the referee did not see it that way, and we're going to go Fergus ball up the other way.
I think the argument was that Wilmot never touched the ball after DeMichelle made the save.
Which would make it Wilmot ball.
There's a shot. Hindman gets stopped by the left leg pad of Reed Fitton. And then it's going to be Wilmot ball. That pass gets deflected, but it will reach his intended target.
Dylan Kuntz.
Dylan Kuntz controlling for the Wilmot Wild. Again, trying to kill some more time off this penalty. They've already killed 2 minutes, 10 seconds of the 5-minute major to Colton Bessie. Pass
Martin,
down low.
wow.
Kuntz shoots. That goes wide.
Great eyes by Jackson Martin there. A long pass to the crease there. Dylan Kuntz gets a good shot on that.
So Adam Lance, who was the player who got checked by Colton Bessie, back out on the floor as he sets up top for the Fergus Thistles. Stovall, top Lance.
Halfway point of the 5-minute major, just approaching.
Lance picks it up, pass down low. Swanston fires a shot. That's covered up by Fitton. And it'll be brought back the other way by Wilmot. Good, strong goaltending from Wilmot here in this contest, and Reed Fitton, proving why he has a 4-0 record on this season. Brought back up the floor, Jake Bauman. Passes off for Brody Schaefer. And now Fergus will reset on the power play. Atchison off for Stovall. Schaefer has Hindman, finds him, gets it right back up top. There's a shot fired. That gets blocked by Wyman, and then Wilmot picks up the loose ball. Check hard to the ground as Atchison regroups, so it'll be a shot clock reset for Fergus. Still a minute 30. Hindman fires a shot. That goes
Big
wide.
stop by Reed.
Stovall fires that stop by
Another one.
Fitton, and he'll cover up.
I think Colton Bessie's gonna owe Reed Fitton a big thank you in the dressing room at the intermission here. He's made a number of stops here on the man short.
Jackson Martin works it down low. Still a minute 10 seconds on this 5-minute major against the Wild.
Wilmot looking to work the ball around, work the pick and roll, create space here.
Jackson Martin. Pass out in front. Evan Girdler couldn't get a shot away. He shoots at the end of the shot clock. That gets stopped by DeMichelle. And now brought back up the floor by Jacob Hain. Pass off for Stovall. Hindman.
40 seconds left in the man short here.
Adam Lance controls up top, waiting for a shooting lane. Hindman, pass down low. That was a hot pass that wasn't able to be corralled by Fergus, so it'll be controlled by the Wild. And they'll be able to kill off almost the rest of this penalty against Colton Bessie.
Don't want to speak too soon. Crosses the fast
loses
game.
that pass as it was out in front. Radbourne passes down low, a shot, that's stopped by DeMichelle. Another great opportunity for Hayden Berger, and Wilmot getting some chances on the penalty kill as this penalty winds down, and Wilmot just 2 seconds away from killing off a 5-minute major, and they do.
That's got to excite the Wilmot bench. I'm surprised they're as quiet as they are.
Blake Weidman back the other way. Stops, controls. Weidman running with it. He passes. Berger shoots. And that goes out of play. Berger not able to take advantage. Back the other way quickly. Alec Beauregard in, shoots. And that gets blocked by the stick of Kuntz. Never made it to Reed Fitton.
Hayden Berger breaking up the floor here.
As it's picked up and brought up by Derek Jensen, controlling. Has Girdler in the slot, pass far side for Jackson Martin.
Whoa.
Aaron, as he controls on the sideboards, getting checked hard by Jeremy Goodwin.
Jackson Martin proven time and time again here just to be such a physical force on the offensive zone for the Wilmot Wild.
That ball comes loose and the shot clock expires. So with 2 minutes 14 seconds left in this second period, Fergus will regain control. Some moisture out on the floor, so it'll be cleaned up before Fergus will restart with possession of the ball.
GM Ryan Fitton there doing a great job mopping up the floor.
There's 2-2 after the first period. This second period, Tyler Nagy opened the scoring, but Fergus with back-to-back goals from Nick Atchison and J.J. Swanston has given them a 4-3 lead in this contest over Wilmot. Again, Fergus 4-3 on the year, Wilmot 6-1. The Thistles trying to inch closer to Wilmot and Brantford in the West Division standings.
Those numbers don't reflect how good Fergus has played. They've had really close games in all those losses, and they could have really went the other way.
2 close games against Brantford and an overtime loss to Wilmot. They're the only 3 losses. You got to wonder if at some point, if they want to be successful this year, Fergus is going to have to beat one of those teams in the regular season to prove that they can hang with the big boys.
No, that's for sure, and it's all going to start. They got to do it soon before they run out of times against the big boys. Like you said, 2 games against Brantford already. This is the second against Wilmot.
Ethan Warden works it off. Blake Weidman controls. He has Radbourne out in front. Radbourne fires. That one's stopped by DiMichele. Weidman controls once again up top. And then Radbourne out in front with Eli McLeod. They get tangled up. And heading off to the box is going to be Ken Radbourne.
Wow, I am amazed they did not take 2 players there.
So Fergus will head back to the power play. A little bit of discipline issues from the Wilmot Wild here in this second period.
Yeah, that's not something you want to see from a leader like Kent Radbourne, but I mean, emotions to get high in a 1-goal game against a rival like Fergus. I mean, this goes back many years, basically to Wilmot's inception. It's a healthy rivalry.
Controlled by Fergus as there's a shot. Schaefer scores! 12th goal of the season from Brody Schaefer on the power play, and it gives Fergus a 5-3 lead with 1:09 left in the second period.
And that's huge, going into the 2-goal lead to the second intermission. That's not something Wilmot wanted to give up. Take a look at the Wild Wing replay. Fergus with the ball down low, right to the center. Can't see exactly who shot that, number 23, maybe 24.
Brody Schaefer picking up his second of the game. And now it's brought the other way by Fergus as it's a 2-on-1, in on goal, shot, they score! Jake Ballman. Just 16 seconds after the Schaefer goal, Bauman scores, and now all of a sudden Fergus up 6-3.
Yeah, gaining a lot of momentum here going into the intermission. Wilmot's going to want to put a stop to this. Maybe try to squeak one here and definitely just stop the floodgates.
So Fergus, they were down 3-2 early on in this second period, but 4 unanswered goals for the Thistles gives them a 6-3 lead, and there's going to be a timeout called. So we take another look at it there. Bauman just taking advantage. He had Swanson at the far side of the net. There was a 2-on-1. Beats Reed Fitton. Nothing much for Fitton to do on that play. It was a tough go for the Wilmot goalie. Fergus will draw up a play, 49.6 seconds left in this second period. Looking to extend that lead to 4. Wilmot looking to answer back. They haven't lost the game since May 3rd, and that was just a 10-9 loss to the first place Brantford team. Both teams sit at 6-1, but because of that head-to-head win, Brantford holds the tiebreak. So if you're Fergus and you call that timeout, what kind of player are you drawing up to try and set up for a goal here?
They're going to want to work it to one shot. I have a feeling we're going to see Fergus hold the ball here for the next 25 seconds of the shot clock and only shoot if it's really open.
Atchison looked like they were trying to shoot early on, and there's a timeout by Wilmot as Schmidt gives a push to the face of Nick Atchison. as they get separated, but Wilmot called timeout. Atchison still going for the ball, so Schmidt gave him a little bit of a shove, but the Wild called timeout, 36.6 seconds left and a full 30-second shot clock. So now if you're Wilmot, what kind of player are you dialing up?
The exact same thing. I think they're going to try to hold the ball here for the full 30 and only work it for the one shot. Rick Wendell, he is a really aggressive coach. I wouldn't be surprised if Reed Fitton started on the bench here, but it doesn't look like he's going to. Just to kind of give Wilmot the extra player edge there, but I think Rick's going to have the ball working around the outside until about 10-15 seconds to go in the game period, and Wilmot's going to work it for a shot.
So we just saw Fergus set up their play. Brody Schaefer tried to feed it down low for Nick Atchison. Atchison couldn't get a stick on it and then stepped in the crease, so that's why the turnover happened. But do you think that the mindset on the Wilmot bench was that they were going to try and kill as much clock as possible, and Fergus tried to catch them sleeping?
I think so. Unless Fergus just acted on something they saw open, I think Wilmot was caught off guard by how they went aggressive there.
Controlled by Wilmot is Hayden Berger. Steps into the middle, pass far side. Warden picks it up in the corner. Ethan Warden coming off the boards, passes out in front, a shot that goes wide. And then trying to feed it back in front was Evan Girdler. Picked up Warden. Still controlling for Wilmot, just 5 to shoot. Warden passes out in front. Berger couldn't get a stick on it. 2 to shoot. There's a late shot from Girdler. That goes high. It's going to be Fergus ball with 5.4 seconds left in the second period.
We're going to see a full press here from Wilmot. They don't want that ball coming over half.
Jake Bauman controls on the side, and that will end the second period, as giving the forecheck there was Blake Weidman. So after 40 minutes of play, it's 6-3 Fergus, a 4 unanswered goal spot in that second period after Wilmot scored the opening goal in the middle session. Gives Fergus a 6-3 lead, and that's where we'll be heading into the second intermission. We'll have the second intermission coming up for you right here on Wilmot Wild Lacrosse on Rogers TV.
Hello. Hi. I have no clue.
3, 2, 1, go.
No. Do you want me to go get someone? Okay. No, I don't see anybody. Okay. Sure. Oh. Okay. Are you doing the interview? Yeah, it's supposed to be a Fergus guy. Wait, do you want a Wilmot guy or a Fergus guy? Okay, sure, why not? Okay. Here we go. Number 6.
Wild Lacrosse on Rogers TV. 6-3 Fergus Thistles through 40 minutes of play. Jack Moore now joined by Ethan Warden of the Wilmot Wild. And Ethan, your team was tied at 2 after the first period, and then you scored first in that second period. Your team allowed 4 unanswered goals. What went wrong for your side in that middle frame?
I think we just ran into a lot of penalty trouble. Played shorthanded most of the whole period. Hopefully we can smart up in the third period and then catch back up.
What's the message from your coaching staff heading into the third period now that your team is down by 3 to a team that's trying to catch you in the standings?
Just keep our heads up, stop running our mouth to the ref, and then make it happen.
So your team is 3-0 at home. That's in jeopardy now heading into the third period. How important is a good home record for your team, and why is this place such a difficult place to play for other Ontario Junior C lacrosse teams?
I mean, I think it's a big thing to have at home because our environment is so crazy here. Everybody's so appreciative here. It's hard to play here. Crowd's loud, and we're just going to be a fast, hard team to play against.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ethan. That's Ethan Warden of the Wilmot Wild, who trailed the Fergus Thistles 6-3 after 40 minutes of play. We'll have more second period intermission for you coming up on Wilmot Wild Lacrosse.
Hello? Can you hear? Okay, hi. Wait, can you hear me or? Okay, so the reason why you keep cutting out for everybody is because my box is a piece of shit, and it keeps on tugging down at the cord. So like, that's not what I need. I'm just letting you know that's what's going on, and that if everybody loses communications, then that's why. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna try and give it some more slack so it won't do it as often. Yep, all right.
Back to Wilmot Wild Lacrosse on Rogers TV. 6-3 Fergus Thistles lead the Wilmot Wild after 40 minutes of play, as we're going to take a look at those goals there in that second period. And Wilmot opened the scoring, but it was 4 unanswered goals by Fergus that has given them a 6-3 lead. As we take a look here at the Wilmot goal, and Nagy works it down low, and then Martin gets it right back to Nagy, and he scores. And that gave Wilmot a 3-2 lead at the time. It was 2-2 after the first period. But the Wild would then have that lead diminished, as it was a goal from Nick Atchison. He picked it up, fired, scored, and now it was 3-3. And Fergus did not stop there. As you see that goal there from J.J. Swanston, he fired it in. And Andrew, with the way Wilmot's played, and we talked with Ethan Warden in that second intermission, he said, you know, the team took too many penalties and they were undisciplined. How do you change that going into the third when you have that frustration with the officiating?
They just gotta shut their mouths. I mean, time and time again, you could see in the second period they just had something to say. I mean, you can't change the ref's call after it's been made, and they went into his ear, and that's got to stop. And even the initial penalties, I mean, there's nothing really you could do on that penalty shot, but Colton Bessie's just an aggressive play. Both his penalties, I mean, were just aggressive play, and you just got to tone it down and add discipline into your game.
So for the Wilmot Wild, who haven't lost a game at home this season, and they haven't lost a game in 23 days, does that add to the frustration? And when there really hasn't been a whole lot of adversity to this point of your season, how do you respond?
Oh, you just got to step it up and really get on the gas pedal. I mean, like you'd said, it's been a long time since a loss, and I don't think they want to have that taste again in their mouths going into the month of June. It's really the home stretch here in the Junior C season, and it's not a loss that they want to have on their record.
So who needs to step up in this third period for Wilmot to come away with a victory? What player in particular needs to be the leader to kickstart this comeback?
I think it's got to be a team effort here of Kent Radbourne and Tyler Nagy on the left side. I mean, they're both leaders. They both have letters on their jersey. And it's just something that's got to happen. Their offense has to click to score some goals here if Wilmot wants to be successful.
So the Wilmot Wild trail the Fergus Thistles 6-3 with 20 minutes left in this contest. Last time these two teams played, they were tied at 7s after regulation. They went into overtime where Wilmot scored 3 goals and came away with a 10-7 victory for the Fergus Thistles. They're trying to avoid dropping to 4-4 on the season.
And how devastating that would be. I mean, a 500 record is not what Fergus has played this season, and it's unfortunate the numbers show that, but that's just the way it goes sometimes.
A strong team who's only lost to 2 teams, Brantford twice and Wilmot once, trying to get a win against the team at the top of the West Division as there's a penalty coming up to the Thistles early on.
Holding, I believe.
It is going to be a holding call, and that's going to go against Jacob Ristoff. So Ristoff heads to the penalty box, and Wilmot will go to the power play early on, just 23 seconds into this contest.
And this is the lacrosse gods smiling down on Wilmot here, giving them a power play this early on. Nothing would be better if Wilmot could capitalize here and start the momentum the other way after giving up some goals late to Fergus.
6 Wilmot penalties in that second period, trying to climb back in. Radbourne fires a shot that goes wide. Jackson Martin recontrols for the Wild. They still have 15 to shoot. Martin controls. Radbourne steps in, pass far side for Townsend. Aaron can't control it. There's a foul called against Fergus, so it'll be a fresh 30 on the clock for the Wilmot Wild. Townsend passes down low. Martin up tops, fires, and DiMichele makes the save, covers it up. And it'll be Fergus ball. And he's really been a bright spot for Fergus here today. Xavier DiMichele, who hasn't seen a whole lot of action this season, but playing very well. As here comes Ethan Warden in on goal, and that's stopped by DiMichele. He continues to stand tall in the Fergus goal.
We're going to go Wilmot ball though here.
Some pushing and shoving between Jackson Martin and Cameron Angst. And just Angst is going to head to the penalty box. No, they're going to send Jackson Martin as well.
Wow, and that's a late call. I mean, the second ref came in here and made that second call, and that's actually, that's terrible to see. That's making his partner look bad. Especially in the second period there was a good instance. I think Kent Radbourne, but they only took the one player, and that's got to be made consistent both ways here, especially in a close game.
So Wilmot still will be on the power play for the next minute 14 seconds. It'll be 4-on-3 for the Wilmot Wild. Down by 3 to the Fergus Thistles, trying to climb their way back into this contest.
And oh, how sweet a goal would be here for the Wilmot Wild.
Radbourne, side of the net, tried to feed it for Townsend. That goes over his stick, but Wilmot able to regroup Warden. Jensen, Radbourne fires, that goes wide. He's had a couple looks on this power play, but hasn't been able to convert on any of them.
Out comes Reed Fitton to play the ball there. 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
As it's brought back the other way, it was fired in by Wilmot. Jake Bauman will bring it up for the Fergus Thistles. Getting checked hard by Jensen. Bauman continues to
by
control.
Derek Jensen there.
J.J. Swanston Controls for Fergus. They're trying to kill off as much time in this penalty as possible. Still 10 seconds on the shot clock. A double team up against the boards. Swanson can't find the ball, and it's picked up by the Wild and dribbled down the floor, but that's where the Wilmot Wild will start as that shot clock expires.
I think the referee's trying to call a reset here. Play on. I'm not sure what's really going on. I didn't hear a whistle to blow that back into play.
There was a reset, so it wasn't a shot clock violation. JJ Swanson picks it up, and we're back to 4-on-4 as there's still 40 seconds in the offsetting minors. So Wilmot gets possession of the ball back, and Weidman will bring it up the floor for the Wild. Weidman trying to set up offensively. Wilmot trying to get closer. Townsend fires, that one goes wide.
I heard a post there. It might have been the goaltender's stick, but either way, that's a great opportunity for Tyler Townsend and the Wilmot Wild.
Hayden Berger controls, has that knocked off his stick, but it's going to be a foul against Fergus, so it'll be a shot clock reset for Wilmot. In on goal, unable to get a shot away was Blake Weidman. Pass up top, there's a shot by Girdler. Berger, backhand shot, and then stopped by DiMichele as he covers up.
Great effort there by Hayden Berger to get that behind the back off. He's a very pretty player to watch.
Brought up the floor, Nick Atchison has 2 goals in this contest so far. Had a penalty shot earlier in that second period, wasn't able to convert. He drives to the net, Atchison scores! That's the hat trick for Nick Atchison. His 12th goal of the season extends that Fergus lead to 4 goals. It's 7-3 Thistles.
Just a little over the top crossover shot. I believe bounced it right beside Reed Fitton's legs and into the back of the net here. Take a look at the Wild Wing replay. Nick Atchison works off a good pick, breaks to the net, and a little twist there, and he does bounce it into the net there.
So Wilmot, an even steeper hill to climb back into this one.
Yeah, 7-3, 16 minutes left to go in the third. It's very possible, though. I mean, I've seen a lot happen in lacrosse. It really is just 4 shots.
Townsend works it back for Kuntz. Ball rolling on the floor. Bauman trying to take it away, but it's picked up by Kuntz as he controls in the corner. Getting double teamed up against the boards. Able to maintain possession. Kuntz steps around, fires a shot, stopped by the stick of DiMichele, and Fergus will restart. Seems Xavier DiMichele not quite comfortable passing the ball through his stick. Normally picks it up out of the net of his stick and then hands it off to a teammate. Why is that a goalie isn't that comfortable passing the ball down the floor?
Well, honestly, at this age, I gotta say that it's gotta be DiMichele's stick. Those wooden sticks are very heavy, and they are kind of hard to throw. I think it might be the more conservative route to just pass it off, but Wilmot's got to recognize that and then put a heavy pressure on him.
Weidman picks up for the Wild. Passes off for Jackson Martin, who will start the offense for Wilmot, 10 to shoot. Martin, a bounce pass.
Working the double
Ward
team
and
there.
fires a shot. That's stopped by DiMichele. Ball up in the air and dropped down to the floor.
That was a dirty
There's Jackson Martin by Eli McLeod. Some pushing and shoving after the play, but McLeod's going to head to the penalty box, and Wilmot's going to head back to the power play.
That was a dirty hit. One positive note to see from that is Wilmot didn't take an unsportsmanlike penalty freaking out there, or even a retaliation call. So that's a positive note that discipline is proven to prevail here in the third period.
Fergus taking their 3rd minor penalty of this 3rd period. Hasn't come back to bite them yet. Wilmot trying to climb back in as they have a 5-on-4 power play. Berger works it down low. Radborn, Martin out in front. He shoots. That's stopped by DiMichele. Ball loose, and Martin chips that away as he takes a hack.
That was a big
DiMichele
slash from the goalie. I hope the ref saw that.
So it's going to be Fergus ball. Nothing on that play as it gets worked down the floor.
That was just a dirty play by DiMichele there.
Came out of his net, gave Jackson Martin a little bit of a whack. Same player who got dropped by Eli McLeod.
And like I was just saying, those wooden goalie sticks are very heavy, very hard sticks to hit someone with.
Nagy works it off Radborn. Berger, Martin. Berger, Radborn. Down low, Nagy. Up top for Berger. And off Martin, fires, scores!
Great ball movement by the Wilmot Wild, and Jackson Martin was due for one, that's for sure. He's had a lot of opportunities today, and after taking that hit, he had a little chip on his shoulder.
Jackson Martin's 5th goal of the season pulls Wilmot back within 3, and it's a power play marker. He's the one who forced Fergus to take the penalty as we take a look at it on our Wild Wing replay. And Berger just passes off for Martin through the legs, fires it past Xavier DiMichele.
Great little skip shot right around his ankle.
Now picked up Brody Schaefer off the draw. He controls by himself. Schaefer has that ball knocked off his stick and now picked up and worked the other way by Wilmot, trying to draw closer. J.J. Swanson, a big hit there.
Crushing Braden Hahn, but he hops up and he's back on his feet.
Wyman controls for the Wild. Just 8 seconds to shoot. Wyman holding down low, works around the net. Has to get a shot off, he won't, so Fergus will take over on the shot clock violation by the Wild. Brought up the floor, Jacob Hain. Off for Bauman, and Swanston picks it up as Fergus goes on offense. Pass up top, Lance. Now off for Heineman. Heineman works it on the side. Gets a pick from his teammate, Lance. Passes near side for Stova. There's a shot fired. That gets turned away by Reed Fitton. And going hard for that ball, a Wilmot player dropping to the floor, and there's a shot on goal, but Reed Fitton makes the save. It was a crease violation. So the Wild ball, and then Lance gives a shot at Ethan Fitton. He's going to head to the penalty box, but Reed Fitton came running out of his net to try and get a piece of Adam Lance. So Fergus, another undisciplined play with the lead here in this third period, and Wilmot going to try and take advantage and try and inch themselves back within 2.
I agree. Adam Lance, a veteran player in this league here, taking a rather dumb penalty here late in the game.
Radbourne, Berger, Jackson Martin back for Hayden Berger. Radbourne, side of the net, waiting, looking for a shooting lane, fires a shot, that's stopped by DiMichele. Ball bounces back into the crease, and DiMichele will start the reset for Fergus. Hain brings it up the floor for the Thistles. Fergus trying to take as much time off this penalty as possible as that ball springs loose out onto the floor, and it's going to be Wilmot ball. Hayden Berger brings it up the floor for Wilmot. And the Wild will restart on the power play. Jackson Martin scored just a few moments ago on the power play. Berger passed down low for Warden. That gets deflected, bounces into the crease where DiMichele is able to corral it. So Fergus will bring it back up the floor.
Ball movement's definitely improved here for the Wilmot Wild in the third period. Whoa, that's very dangerous play with the doors opening across.
Now pushing and shoving Atchison and Hahn at center floor. It's going to be Wilmot ball. But like you said, Jacob Ristoff got checked into the boards and that door was open for a line change. Lots of changing in lacrosse, and that leaves those doors open and could be very dangerous for a player flying in to the bench off a check.
No question.
Berger. Far side as it's worked up to Radbourne up top. There's a quick shot from Nagy. That gets stopped and bounces back down the floor where Radbourne will try to re-corral at center. It got past him, so Fitton restarts the play late in the shot clock, fires it down the floor, picked off by Jake Bauman, and he comes down. And if Fergus uses this full shot clock, they'll have killed off this penalty.
Oh, great play by Derek Jensen there.
Swanson, as the Wild are going to pick up a penalty here. Swanson continues to control as he gets checked hard into the boards, and a late hit from the Wild, and there's some pushing and shoving after the play. Oh, a cross check to the chest of Reed Fitton, and now going after J.J. Swanson.
And you can't let anyone hit your goalie like that, that's for sure. I'm glad Braden Hahn got in there. You can't really encourage that type of play, but if someone's going to hit your goalie like that.
There's still some jawing between J.J. Swanson and Derek Jensen. So there was the original penalty on the play, and then you got to think that there's going to be a late hit on Braden Hahn. J.J. Swanson's going to head to the box as well. Derek Jensen going off to the penalty box. And Tyler Nagy will get an explanation from the referees. A lot going on in that sequence for these referees to figure out. Tyler Nagy still getting that explanation from the officials. And there's still 6 seconds left on that original Fergus penalty, but we'll see how it all plays out. But that's the second time we've seen Reed Fitton go at a Fergus player. The first one was just under 2 minutes ago when there was a late hit on Ethan Fitton and Lance was heading off to the box and Reed Fitton was running out at Lance, and then just on that last play, J.J. Swanson, who was getting pushed and shoved in behind the Wilmot net, Fitton went after him and then took a cross check to the chest.
Yeah, Reed Fitton's a good team player, though. You got to think he just watched the Fergus goalie, D. Michelle, give Jackson Martin a big whack in the stomach. So Reed Fitton's got to repay the favor a little bit, too.
Tyler Nagy getting an explanation, as is Nick Atchison with the officials. So 2 penalties to Wilmot, 1 penalty to Fergus. So it'll be 3-on-3 for 6 seconds, and then Fergus will head to a 4-on-3 power play for 1:54 after that. As the benches are still getting an explanation from our officials, and when there's a stoppage in play like this, how hard is it for you to regroup and get back in the mindset of, we have to come back in this game considering Wilmot's down 7-4.
Oh yeah, no, Wilmot's really going to keep their cool and keep their game face on, I guess you could say. There's still a lot of lacrosse here left to be played with 11 minutes to go, and Wilmot is on the climb.
Atchison couldn't get a clean shot away as that ball was knocked loose out of his stick.
Fergus penalty has expired now, and they will get their extra offensive player on the floor.
Brody Schaefer controls. Steps in, he fires a shot, that goes wide and bounces back into the Wilmot zone, or into the Fergus zone.
Shot clock will wind down. We'll not see what we'll see here.
Sam McDonald coming in, fires a shot, that's stopped by Fitton. Shot clock should reset, but Atchison gets pushed into the crease, and it's going to be Fergus ball. They still have 1:28 seconds on this 4-on-3 power play.
Very soft refing you're seeing here in a close playoff-like game.
McDonald fires that, squeaks through off the post. Reed Fitton able to keep it out of his net. It beat Fitton, but it couldn't find the mesh. And Sam McDonald was that close to re-giving Fergus that 4-goal lead.
Oh, and the door's open again. Fergus is terrible for that this afternoon.
Controlled by Colton Bessie on the near side as it's worked down low. Wyman controls for Wilmot. It's 4-on-3 for Fergus. Late in the shot clock, Wyman fires a shot. That gets blocked, so it doesn't make it to the net. Fergus ball, and they'll start back the other way with 49 seconds left on this power play.
And Wilmot looking for a big kill here as Fergus just headmans the ball up the floor.
Brody Schaefer brings it up for the Thistles. It's controlled Heineman. Schaefer fires, scores! Brody Schaefer fires it past Reed Fitton. And on a 4-on-3 power play, Fergus regains a 4-goal lead. It's 8-4 Thistles. So Brody Schaefer once again, the team's leading scorer, picking up his third goal of the game.
Just a big sidearm cannon of a shot, beating Reed Fitton along the left side there.
He's been solid offensively all day for Fergus. And the Thistles were still 4-on-4. Schaefer passes, McDonald shoots. Fitton makes the save, ball rolling in the crease. That's finally picked up by Ethan Fitton, and it'll be worked back down the floor by the Wild.
Hayden Berger loses stepping there, gets up.
Berger controls. Driving to the net, Berger passes off for Martin. Martin fires, that goes wide. Just 5 seconds left on this 4-on-4, so we'll be back to 5-on-5 as the players step back out of the box. Martin out in front, that's stopped by the arm of DiMichele, and he's been phenomenal all day. Swanston works it off for Lance. Heineman controls for the Thistles. Swanson spins off a defender, continues to control, evades another defender. He passes down low, unable to find Alec Beauregard, and it's taken away by the Wild.
Braden Hahn looks to break out here.
He's brought up the floor. Colton Bessie.
Very fast kid, Colton Bessie is. Great transition player.
As Evan Girdler works it off for Blake Weidman. Tyler Townsend open the scoring today. Townsend passes out into the middle, but that's taken away by Jacob Hain. And that ball rolling around, Hain able to recontrol, and it's brought up the floor by the Thistles. Bauman. Shovel pass off for Atchison. Brody Schaefer. Hat trick in this contest, so does Atchison. Schaefer driving to the net. Tries to find Atchison, that's taken away by a player from Wilmot, but now controlled. McDonald fires a long shot as Fergus picks up an offensive rebound. 7:44 left to go. Fergus with a 4-goal lead. They're looking to come away with a victory and have Wilmot lose their first game at home this season. That ball bounces up into the air, and it's finally corralled by Dylan Kuntz.
Oh, that's a high cross check.
Kuntz still controlling, gets away from the pressure from Fergus. So a great job there to maintain possession by Dylan Kuntz. Kuntz controlling, drops his shoulder, drives to the net. He'll turn around and continue to have possession as he battles against Jeremy Goodwin. Pinned up against the board is Kuntz. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Berger picks it up, and then Kuntz gives a late shot there to Jeremy Goodwin, so Kuntz will head to the penalty box, and Fergus will go back on the power play with 7:06 left to go in the third period. So after a great job by Dylan Kuntz getting that ball, maintaining possession in his own end, and getting it down the floor, after the play's over, he takes a penalty, and it kind of overshadows the great play that he made.
It really does, and I mean, and it also overshadows the 13 disciplined minutes of lacrosse that they started to play here in the third period. I mean, they're really starting to edge Fergus there with the penalties.
Heineman works it off for Brody Schaefer. Schaefer gets it back up top, fires one, that goes wide. Rebound picked up by Colton Bessie. Brought up the floor, Braden Hahn. Controls. And at what point, when you're down by 4 goals but killing off a penalty, does the focus not remain? And it's going to be over and back against Wilmot, so it'll be Fergus ball. But when you get possession on a penalty kill, especially when it was a 5-minute penalty to Dylan Kuntz, when do you start attacking the net and trying to score, even though you're trying to kill off a penalty and try and kill off some time?
Oh, Wilmot's going to be looking to score the minute they get the ball. They're going to want to.
Out in front, Schaefer scores.
Wow, and just like that, I don't want to say a dagger with 6 minutes to go, but that is a hard one to swallow for Wilmot. 5-goal lead, 6 minutes to go.
Brody Schaefer, his 4th goal of the game, comes on a 5-minute major to Dylan Kuntz to give Fergus a 5-goal advantage. 6:14 left in the game. There's still 4 minutes, 8 seconds left in the 5-minute major. Of course, if Fergus scores again, it's back to 5-on-5, but then at that point, it's a 6-goal game, and it's almost an insurmountable lead for Wilmot to come back from.
It really is. I've seen crazier things happen in lacrosse, but that is pretty hard to do for the Wilmot Wild here. It really is a testament to your character, your team's character, when you're down this late, to see how the emotions go and how the game actually finishes.
4-goal game from Brody Schaefer gives him 14 goals on the season. Mix that with 20 assists, he's up to 34 points.
Very impressive with 8 games played.
And he'll get possession back up top for Fergus as they restart on the power play. Look down low, Atchison. Up top, Schaefer waits, fires, and that's stopped by Reed Fitton, covered up in the crease. So Wilmot, now with 5:44 left, down by 5, they're going to have to start attacking on this penalty kill. That pass intended for Colton Bessie goes over his head, so Fergus will retreat, and Jacob Hain will pick up for the Thistles, and they'll start back the other way. Scott Stovall controls as he brings it up the floor. Fergus on the power play, and you got to think, even on the power play, you might want to try and kill some time off the clock as much as possible. As there's a quick pass for Swanson.
Great save by Reed Fitton.
And his foot was in the crease, so it's going to be Wilmot ball. But like we mentioned before, at the end of that second period, where time was winding down, Fergus probably looking to get a shot away with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Jensen driving to the net, shoots. That stop by DiMichele. Continues to stand tall. He hasn't seen some action in a few minutes for Fergus, but still standing tall in that Thistles goal.
Yeah, and as the game progresses here with 5 minutes left, we're going to get to see a little bit of night and day lacrosse. Fergus is really going to try to kill the clock, and Wilmot's really going to be on the gas trying to score and cut this lead.
Hindman gets it back. Schaefer gives it back to Hindman. Work down low. Back up to Schaefer up top, but that goes past his stick and bounces around to center floor. So
great defense by Matt Wyman there on that play.
End of the shot clock, and it goes right on Reed Fitton. So starting back the other way will be the Wilmot Wild and Cody Hudson.
Cody, move your feet, and he'll get through the defender there. He also has to beat the 10-second clock, which he did not.
So another turnover there by the Wild late in this game, trying to come back down by 5 against the Fergus Thistles. This would bring these two teams just to 1 game apart in the standings. It's controlled by Fergus. Stovall up top, Lance. Hindman fires, that stop by Fitton. McDonald trying to pick up the rebound. Stovall, sorry, that's Hindman. He'll pick it up. Lance controls, but there's going to be a penalty coming to Wilmot, and that's going to go against Ethan Fitton. So it's going to be 5-on-3 for the next minute 40 seconds, and we only have 3 minutes 46 seconds left in this contest. That should all but bury the Wilmot Wild.
Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I might be agreeing with you. And I think I see another 5-minute major up there, which I got to wonder, what is the referee calling on that?
So I'm sure we'll get the call from Sean Norris, the public address announcer here, in just a moment. Stovall controls. Lance down low. Pass for Hindman goes wide, and it bounces to center, where it'll be picked up by Jake Bauman. Still 8 seconds to shoot for Fergus. Bauman. Stovall fires, that stop by Fitton, covered up in the crease.
An extra little dagger to Wilmot for this game is they've already lost one to Brantford, and if they place a second place tie with Fergus, they don't want to lose a head-to-head because they did only win in overtime in their first matchup.
So Wilmot trying an improbable comeback, down 5-on-3 as it's controlled by Colton Bessie. Bessie, Weidman, down low, passes it back up top for Nagy. That goes back into the Wilmot zone, and that will be a shot clock violation, so Fergus will start from their own end with the ball. For Wilmot, their next game will go against Caledon. That'll be on Sunday, June 2nd. That pass down low. And Fergus trying to kill off more time. Beauregard down low, the side of the net, gets an open look. He shoots, he scores! Alec Beauregard picks up his first goal of the season to make it 10 for Fergus with 2:24 left in the contest.
I hate to say it, that might be the final dagger for the Wilmot Wild here.
Reluctant to say it when it's a 5-goal differential, but 6 goals and 2:24 looks insurmountable for the Wilmot Wild at this point, considering that they still have 3 minutes and 38 seconds of a major penalty to kill off. But that first major penalty to Dylan Kuntz should come off the board because that's Fergus's second goal on the power play. So the time should come off. It should be 5-on-4. And then after the next whistle, Kuntz will be able to come out of the box. As that, he took another look at that Fergus goal in the first of the season from Alec Beauregard as it just dribbles past Reed Fitton. The referees will just talk things over and make sure that they're getting the timing right, but it should be 5-on-4. So Wilmot has a steep hill to climb to come back. Their offense has been slowed down by this Fergus Thistles team. 2 goals in the first period and then 1 in the second and 1 in the third. Low scoring affair for Wilmot, and Fergus's offense turned it on in that second period and now here into the third.
Yeah, very rare sight to see Wilmot only putting up 4 goals so far. It's definitely not like them in recent years.
Weidman controls. He passes off for Radbourne. Radbourne fires, scores!
A bullet from long range there from Kent Radbourne, and he just solves the Michelle.
Kent Radbourne, his first goal of the game, which gives him 11 on the year. Strong offensive player for the Wild, but looks like it's going to come too little too late as it cuts that Fergus lead in half.
But look at this really nice shot from Kent Radbourne.
Schmidt wins the face-off, controlled by Colton Bessie. Jackson Martin brings it up the floor for Wilmot. Martin fires, that gets deflected off the leg of Baumann, goes into the corner, controlled by Evan Girdler. Up top, Jensen. Getting a screen from Girdler. Jensen steps around the defender. Passes off for Jackson Martin. 5 seconds to shoot. Martin passes down low for Nagy. Behind the back shot goes wide. Shot clock expires. So it'll be Fergus ball as Martin fired it back onto D. Michelle. Minute 13 to go. And Fergus has possession and a power play, so you got to think that this next shot won't come until under 5 seconds on the shot clock. Stovall, Schaefer, Heineman, down low for Beauregard. Heineman, back up to Schaefer. There's a shot, scores! Scott Stovall, 9th of the season, 1st of the game, comes on a major power play for the Fergus Thistles, and Fergus regains that 6-goal lead with 49.5 seconds left in this contest.
Yeah, he had a great underhand shot there, and it went right by goalie Reed Fitton's ankle.
2 goals in the first period for Fergus, 4 in the second period, and now 5 in the third. He's off the face-off. It's a violation against Fergus, so it'll be Wilmot ball. Colton Bessie controls for the Wild. Dips his shoulder around a defender. Bessie passes off, controlled by Berger. Bessie gets it back in the corner and works it to the side. Pass for Radbourne goes wide, but Weidman picks it up, shoots. D. Michelle makes the save.
Oh, and I think we got a fight here. Kent Radbourne and the Fergus player, number 23.
Radbourne and Angst going at it, and they'll drop the helmets, and they'll drop the gloves.
Yeah, we're going to have a go here. And
the referees are going to call it off, so Radbourne and Angst will go at it.
There we go.
Angst gets away.
There we go. We're going to see a great play here.
Right bombs from both players. Radbourne trying to get that left arm free. Both players still going at it. A heavyweight tilt here late in this third period.
Yeah,
big move from Angst, and then another on the top of Radbourne. Angst gets a late blow to the jaw of Kent Radbourne. Both players will be done for the game. But that was a heavyweight tilt between those two players.
Absolutely, it was. I've done a lot of that in my career, and I'd say that was a good heavyweight fight. Kent stood in there, but I think we're going to have to give the Fergus player the decision.
Cameron Angst, both players dropping some right-handed bombs there, but it was Angst who got one on the jaw of Radbourne late that ended the fight. Those players decided to drop the gloves with just 25.8 seconds left. It's 11-5 for the Fergus Thistles. They're still on the power play.
That's got to be a lot of frustration from Kent Radbourne. I mean, he's a leading scorer, a leader on this team, and 1 goal, I think, on the night. just things weren't going his way tonight, and that's how he wanted to answer.
You can sense that there was a lot of frustration built up between both these teams late in the contest, and for Wilmot, it's going to be their first home loss of the season. They're going to drop to 3-1 here at the Wilmot Recreation Complex, and they'll drop their record to 6-2. Of course, they haven't lost since losing 10-9 to Brantford back on May 3rd, so the Wild not used to losing contests, but this one against a divisional opponent who's trying to make a come-from-behind charge, and Schmidt gives a little shove there to Eli McLeod, and Fergus will just control in their own end, let time expire, and it's going to be a win for the Fergus Thistles after a tough effort against Brantford the other night. They come in on a Sunday afternoon and pick up a victory against the Wilmot Wild on the road. A big effort, and it all started from the back end. Xavier DiMichele, the winning goalie, picks up his second win of the season.
Yeah, he's going to be happy about that. I mean, he's seen less playing time than the other Fergus goalie, Tyson Reeves, but that's a huge win on DiMichele's record.
Big win for Xavier DiMichele and a big win for the Fergus Thistles. They take this contest 11-5 over the Wilmot Wild. Wilmot's first home loss of the season. They drop to 6-2. Fergus climbs within one game of Wilmot, and both teams have a win in the 2 games that they've played against each other so far this season. That'll do us here for us at the Wilmot Recreation Complex. Thank you for joining us. For Andrew Coughlin and our Rogers TV production crew, I'm Jack Moore saying good Sunday night from Wilmot.